I've confronted hundreds of men over 2 decades. Men online looking for children to sexually assault.
Well, Cody, I'm Chris Hansen.
I know who you are.
I tried to get into their heads and understand why.
But you have it on your phone.
That's true.
And ultimately make sure they face justice.
Can I just give you some money and leave?
I don't want money. I want the truth.
These are the predators I've caught. I'm Chris Hansen. When I interview the predators I've caught, I try to be a good listener. And I tell younger people in this business all the time, to be a good interviewer, you have to be a good listener. And I never really know going into it what is going to trigger these guys to open up, to talk. So I kind of let them tell me what's going on first. I listen. Sometimes they spill their guts right away. They can't wait to tell me their story. Sometimes that story is utter bullshit. And then we get around to the truth. And sometimes they're starstruck. They fanboy. They may have told law enforcement to go pound sand in the jurisdictions where law enforcement gets a chance to interview the predator first. But then they'll talk to me, and we've seen this time and time again. But every once in a while, we get a predator who just will not give me the time of day. And that is when my questions become just as important as the predator's answers. This is when I really have to work. And especially when we do the stings in Polk County. It happens very rarely, but sometimes we have a high-value target, somebody who gets caught, who is in a position of influence, a position that has access to children. This person should be made an example of. A primary character in the predators I've caught in the Takedown series. Whether they want to talk to me or not, they are going to be on the show. And that is exactly the case with Douglas Vincent Cooley. Now, Douglas, surfaced during an investigation in Polk County, Florida, in September of 2023. We were working with Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd and his team. And you may recall during that investigation, I was also very actively participating in CrimeCon, which was taking place in nearby Orlando. On some nights, I was showing up after giving a presentation at CrimeCon. I could tell no one there because we keep these investigations secret for obvious reasons as we conduct them. But I would dip out as soon as I finished speaking, and I would hustle over to the Sting House and get to work. It made for some very long days. But we have a lot of coffee at the Sting House. We have a lot of snacks with sugar and chocolate to keep us awake. And I needed it for Douglas Cooley. Douglas is one of those guys who reached out on a site where people can find sex for sale. And in this particular scenario, which still shocks me every time we come across it, a foster mom was selling a 15-year-old girl for sex. And this particular scenario excited Douglas. He was up for this. He would intimate later that he really wasn't looking for it, but when he found it, he was willing to get involved. And there's something else you need to know about Douglas right now. He worked at a daycare center at Clay Springs Elementary School, an after-school daycare center. That's right, he had direct access to children on a daily basis. He lived in Apopka, Florida, not far from the area of Polk County where we were operating. We were in a big house in a nice residential neighborhood. It was a very busy sting. Let me give you a sense for the chat between the undercover detective posing as the mom and Douglas. After the chat and during all this, Douglas would actually get on the phone with the decoy posing as the 15-year-old girl as well. She went by the name of Sky. And while he had no problem negotiating a price to sexually assault a child, he did want to make sure that the child knew what was going to happen, that the child was willing to be sexually assaulted, as if that made a difference. So on this particular night, September 23rd, 2023, at about 6:30 in the evening, the undercover detective got a text message from a number that came back to Douglas Vincent Cooley, 26 at the time. "You available?" Douglas asks. "She's here, but she's not 70. Now, many times in these scenarios, they post an absurdly old age number. Because if you posted 15, the platform might kick you off. And people do this all the time to get around the age issue. Douglas says, "How much?" "She's 15, says the detective posing as the foster mom. $100 for a half hour and $225 for an hour. "Are you law enforcement?" Douglas asks. Oh, he's concerned about this being a sting. And living this close to Polk County, you can understand why. Sheriff Grady Judd's team does these stings a couple times a year. "I'm interested, but I've never come across this opportunity before. She's 15 years old?" he asks. "Yes, she's 15, in 9th grade. I'm not looking for any trouble." Now, that's about as clear as you can get. She said the age at least twice and then confirmed it again. Yes, she's 15, in the 9th grade. "All right, let's do a half hour," he says. Apparently, he set aside his concerns about this being a sting. "Do you have any sort of verification?" he wants to know. "What do you want to do with her?" says the decoy, the detective. "And what verification do you want? FaceTime call?" "I want to fuck her," he says. "That's right, plain as day. I want to fuck her. Can we do Snapchat?" The detective posing as the foster mom asks, "With or without protection?" Douglas asks, "I just want to know who I'm talking with. Are you her pimp? Is she the only girl you got?" "I'm her foster mom. You ask a lot of questions." "I'm just being cautious." "Not cautious enough on this night, Douglas." Then the detective says, "I have a 12-year-old, but she's not available." And asks Douglas if he's associated with law enforcement. He says, "I am not." "Do you have Snapchat?" "I have WhatsApp. I'm 45 years old and don't use that shit." "We can do that," says Douglas. "Okay, let me know when to call." 7:13. The detective says, "You can call." Oh, and there's one other thing you need to know. Initially, in the conversation, Douglas lies about his name. He says he's James. But we've been able to track the phone number. We know it's Douglas.
What are the rules?
What are the rules? Douglas wants to know.
So the rules are no anal. You can't be rough. Can't leave any marks. Obviously, if she gets to a situation where she's uncomfortable or she tells you no, no means no, obviously.
Okay.
More about this predator I've caught in a moment. If you're a homeowner in America, you need to listen to this. The FBI has been warning about a type of real estate fraud on the rise called title theft, and your equity is the target. Here's how it works. Criminals forge your signature on a single document, use a fake notary stamp, and file it with the county. And just like that, on record, they own your home. Using your ownership, they can take out loans against your equity or even sell your property right out from under you. And you won't know it until foreclosure or collection notices show up in the mail. That's why I've partnered with Home Title Lock so you can protect your equity and find out today if you're already a victim. Use my promo code Hansen, Hansen, at HomeTitleLock.com, and you'll get a free title history report and a free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That's 24/7 monitoring of your title records, urgent alerts to any changes, and if fraud occurs, their U.S.-based restoration team will spend up to $1 million to fix it. That's right. Don't be a victim. Protect your equity today. That's HomeTitleLock.com, promo code Hansen, Hansen, or use the link below. I'll be watching.
It's finally here.
Oh my God.
The official Chris Hansen merch store. Now you can join the mission with official Chris Hansen merchandise, hoodies, tees, mugs, stickers, and more. Shop the full collection at haveaseat.dashery.com.
And it just reconfirmed, like, I'm not gonna, like, get there and then, like, if someone's gonna come out the closet and, like, beat the shit out of me or something.
No.
And then he wants to know, just to be clear, I'm not going to get there and find out that there's law enforcement of some sort.
There's not, like, cameras or anything that, like,
We don't.
anywhere.
No, there's no surveillance cameras.
So it's just, like, I'm not trying to mess up my life.
He says he's not trying to mess up his life, but he's okay messing up the life of a 15-year-old girl. That's okay with Douglas, the guy who works with children at a school.
Oh, I understand. I completely get it. And again, if you decide, hey, it's not for me and I don't want to do this, then I understand. It's not a problem.
And the detective gives him an out. If you're so nervous, Douglas, don't do it. Don't come over.
So,
Okay. No, I think I'm gonna go through with it.
okay.
It's like he's trying to decide whether or not to buy a used car. No, I think I'm going to go through with it. That's what this sounds like. That's how matter-of-fact Douglas is about exploiting a child, paying for a child, buying a child to have sex with for a half hour. He's going to drive from Apopka to this sting house. He's going to give this woman who's supposed to be the girl's foster mom $100. And then he's going to go into a room in this house and have unprotected sex with the child. And he makes it sound like he's coming over to look at a couch, like something he found on Facebook Marketplace. This is outrageous. This is a crime. And Douglas will, in fact, mess up his life.
Are you half hour or hour?
Half hour.
Okay, so a half hour, you're $100.
Mm-hmm.
And what are you wanting with her?
And just to make sure, the detective again asks what Douglas wants to do with the child.
Just the fucker.
Okay.
Just to fuck her, he says.
And you did say with protection, correct?
Yes.
And you will bring that, right?
Yes, I can.
Okay, perfect.
Now he says he will bring protection. What a guy. Now he wants to make sure that the girl is okay with this, even though she's too young to actually give consent.
Okay. And then is she okay with this?
Yes, yes. Do you want to talk to her?
That'd be cool.
The detective then says that he can talk to the girl. That'd be cool. says Douglas.
Okay, hold on. Let me get her. Skylar!
The detective shouts out to another member of the sheriff's department posing as the child. She hustles into the bedroom to get on the phone with Douglas.
So somebody's on the phone.
Okay.
Kind of what we talked about.
Okay.
And they role play, just as an evil foster mother would as she was trying to exploit her vulnerable child.
Right, so he maybe wants to come over and see you?
Okay, that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you okay with that?
Yeah.
Alright, well, I will text you, like, when I'm, ready to come over and you can send the address to me.
And that convinces Douglas everything's okay.
Okay.
All right, sounds good. All right, take me whenever. All right, you too.
Awesome, says Douglas. He'll text when he's close. You can tell in the younger on-site decoy's voice that this has kind of freaked her out, and it should. You know, she's playing the role of a 15-year-old girl who just talked to a man who's going to pay, in this scenario, her foster mom to rape her. A good one.
Yeah. Have a good one.
He sounds like he's coming.
Sounds like it. He wants to wait for the sun to go down because he's nervous.
He does. He wants to make sure there's no cameras here.
Correct.
And that's right. He's not that far away, but he wants to make sure it's dark before he makes the trip. He doesn't want to be seen. Security cameras. Right?
Correct. Nobody's gonna jump out of the closet and attack one when he gets here.
That's what he said.
Correct.
How did he seem to you? How would you describe him?
An opportunity. He said on text that he's never had this chance, never come across this opportunity. So.
And this.
Sounds like he's gonna jump on it.
And it seems like it's been a fantasy of his.
Mm-hmm.
We do a background check and find that there's been an accusation of disorderly conduct in the past. Not sure the details.
Any criminal history?
Disorderly, from what we can tell.
And so he said he'll be here at 9.
He did.
But he's got to check in from the convenience store.
He does. Yes.
Last text, anything?
Last text, he texted and said he was on his way, and that was at 8:29.
Douglas is now just moments away, potentially, so the team of detectives and deputies gets ready. They test the tasers, they get their gear on, Kevlar, they get their weapons ready for the takedown. Douglas pulls into the driveway. Thinks he's going to get out, walk right in, and meet the foster mom and then have sex with the girl. He gets out of the car and meets the undercover detective off camera. The undercover detective actually walks outside. You can't see her on the camera, but they have a brief conversation. And now Douglas thinks he's going to walk in, make a turn, go up the stairs, and go into a bedroom where this girl, Skylar, is waiting for him. That's what he's told. That's what he thinks. And had there been a child, well, I think we know what would have happened next. But that's not going to be what's in Douglas's future, is it? Stand by. I watch as Douglas then enters the house and is taken down. His vision of the 15-year-old Skylar is fleeting. She's there for a second and gets out of the way because the takedown team wastes no time. And now Douglas is whimpering, crying. He's the victim now.
Put your hands behind your back. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm listening. I'm not here. God damn.
I'm sorry. I'm listening. Goddamn, he says.
I'm done for.
If you didn't hear it, he said, I'm done for. Yeah, you are.
Bring him this way. Bring him in.
I made a big mistake.
I made a big mistake. Oh, yeah, you did, Douglas. Big mistake. As Douglas is searched, he's having a conversation with himself. which should be a warning to any future potential predators.
So dumb. Spread your feet apart.
Why'd I do this? Why'd I do this?
I'm so dumb. I'm so dumb. I'm so dumb. Hey, boss, I'm just gonna take your necklace off, okay?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
It's odd for me to listen to this. He's sort of making a confession spontaneously. So dumb, so dumb. Why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do this? Again, we're talking about a man who works with children, who has alone time with children, vulnerable children, children younger than the child he was coming to sexually exploit on this night.
So dumb. I'm so dumb. I'm so dumb. I'm so dumb. I'm so dumb.
Fuck.
It's almost like he's acting, quite honestly. That's what I was thinking at the time. He's got an audience, and this is part of his way of creating sympathy or taking responsibility, I suppose, but it's a little bit late for that, Douglas. If what you've heard shocks you so far, join us back in a moment. Did you know 3 out of 4 homes in the U.S. have toxic chemicals in their tap water? Even though contaminated water looks clear, it could put you at risk for devastating health concerns, including fatigue, hormone disruption, cognitive decline, even cancer. Surprisingly, standard fridge and pitcher filters do little to remove most contaminants, and bottled water, well, contains microplastics. So what's the solution? I've known about AquaTrue for more than a year now, and I really like it when an advertiser comes to us here at Predators I've Caught about a product I'm already using. I already know it works. My son turned me onto this more than a year ago. I have it right here. AquaTrue is the countertop water purifier tested and certified to remove 84 contaminants, including chlorine, lead, forever chemicals, and microplastics. Its patented 4-stage reverse osmosis system goes way beyond ordinary filters for pure, healthy water you can trust. No plumbing, no installation. AquaTrue has been featured in Business Insider, Popular Science, and named Best Countertop Water Filter by Good Housekeeping. Join 99% of customers who say their drinking water is cleaner, safer, and healthier. I know mine is, and it's because of AquaTrue. Head to aquatrue.com now and get 20% off your purifier using promo code Hansen, Hansen. AquaTrue even comes with a 30-day best-tasting water guarantee or your money back. Take the guesswork out of pure, great-tasting water with this exclusive podcast-only offer now at aquatrue.com, AQUATRU.com, using promo code Hansen, Hansen. I'll be watching. Douglas is taken into one of the bedrooms, read his rights, and is questioned by detectives. I listen in. This is obviously helpful for my interview. You know, as you've heard me say before, sometimes these interviews with detectives are brief. They invoke their right to not say anything. And then they talk to me. They tell me the whole story, or their story. But this was kind of the flip side. He did talk to detectives, but when it came time to talk to me, well, see for yourself. He pretty much sets the tone for my discussion with him right off the bat. How old are you?
I'm not doing this part.
I'm not doing this part, he says. Well, guess what, Douglas? That doesn't mean this is over. Not by a long shot. Because just for the sense of getting some justice, I will stick it to you for as long as I feel it's appropriate. And I will ask the questions. Because sometimes, even when a predator starts out by saying, I'm not doing this part, which indicates to me he's seen our previous stories, our investigations over the years, sometimes these guys will ultimately talk. What do you think Douglas is going to do? Okay, well, we're here. You're here. And you made the decision as an adult to come here. After saying you wanted to fuck a 15-year-old girl. I'd like to know what the heck you were thinking and why you decided it was an okay thing to do. And you should know, I know a whole lot about you and your situation. So you may want to think about explaining it to me, because right now you look like you're hiding a whole lot of stuff.
No, I haven't hidden anything
Well,
because
you're-
I talked to the detectives already. I don't have to talk to you.
I don't have to talk to you. Well, that's true, Douglas, you don't. And I'm not going to go on forever. We've got other predators on the way. What do you do for a living? You're a school vendor. Do you work with kids? I'm going to find all this out, Doug. I know this is not going to go on very much longer. So I'm looking for things that might elicit a response. Douglas happens to be wearing a shirt that says DARE on it, which is a program to keep kids off of drugs, a DARE program in schools. So I asked him about that and the irony of a program for children in schools being worn by a predator in my sting. Do you see it as somewhat ironic that you are sitting here after coming to have sex with a 15-year-old girl and you're wearing a DARE sweatshirt keeping kids off drugs? Zip, not a word yet. So let's read back some of the transcripts of his chat. See if that gets Douglas talking. Just to fuck, you said. You said you'd bring protection. You said you'd stop and get it on the way. Are there condoms in your car? Doug, you're a grown man. You need to answer for this.
I did already.
You did already, but I need to know.
You don't need to know.
I do need to know. You don't need to know, he says. What, it's none of my business that you came over here to this house?
It's the detectives.
To violate a 15-year-old child? What do you suppose would have happened, Doug, if I wasn't here, if the sheriffs weren't here, and there was a 15-year-old girl here? What would have happened, Doug? I want to know. You don't think you owe anyone an explanation for this?
I gave my explanation.
I'd like to have one. It's a bit of a stare down now. I did my explanation, he says. This is going to be a part of a story about men trying to meet children for sex, men who exploit children, men who find vulnerable children on the internet. And you're now one of those men. And you don't want anybody to have any sort of insight or understanding into what you did tonight. Is that right? You don't think you owe anybody an explanation?
I gave the detectives everything.
You asked about cameras being anywhere around the house. You say that you don't want to come over until it's dark, till the sun has gone down. Why were you so afraid about coming here in the daylight? The woman with whom you spoke, Cindy, the foster mother, made it very clear. Poor Doug is getting tired now. Rolls his head around, throws it back on the couch, like he's going to take a little nap. Her foster child, this girl, was 15 years old, Skylar. You saw Skylar on the video chat. You talked to the girl. You asked if all this was okay, all this stuff you discussed with her foster mother. You asked a 15-year-old girl if it was okay to come over here and fuck her, Doug? He closes his eyes. But as I said before, this is the part where the questions become just as important as the answer. Because I'm not going to let this guy off the hook. Really? So now you're going to pretend like you're tired and just play possum on me? I'm sorry, what?
Told you I'm not answering questions.
You're not going to say anything. I mean, here's another thing I want to know, Doug. Good-looking guy, 26. Seems like you could socialize with people your own age. Why this? Why tonight? Help me out. Help the next guy to not do this. What do you say to another fellow your age who's online contemplating doing what you did tonight? What do you tell them? Give me that and I'll be done. Give some advice to somebody else in your shoes. You don't want. Doug? You don't want to help somebody else from being in your position right now. It's clear at this point that no matter what I ask, what I say, what I do, how I jab, Doug isn't going to talk. So I end the interview, the part of this investigation Doug told me he doesn't want to do. And Doug is arrested, taken into custody. Doug was charged with multiple counts, multiple felonies associated with soliciting a child for sex online, using a computer to commit a sex crime, and traveling to meet a parent after negotiating a sex crime with a child. And about 8 months after we caught Douglas in the sting, in May of 2024, Douglas pleaded guilty. Actually, Douglas pleaded nolo contendere, which is a fancy way of pleading no contest. So what happens in that case is it's one step less than pleading guilty on the nose. It really makes no difference. Perhaps later he can point to that in his record and say, I didn't plead guilty, I pleaded nolo contendere, which basically means the judge will find him guilty but set aside that adjudication of guilt. But he still gets sentenced to prison. And in this case, 10 years, which means he will not be eligible for release until July of 2033, and then he'll be on probation. And he will be a registered sex offender, so Douglas Vincent Cooley will likely never work with children again. And based upon his criminal activity on this night, we can all agree that's a very good thing. I use TruthFinder frequently, every week. It's so helpful to me in terms of finding out background information on the subjects of my stories, especially when it comes to the takedown predator investigations. Frequently, I can run somebody's name when we have it, and we don't always have the name before the guy shows up, but when we do, I can find out information about this man, this potential predator, to see if he's offended before, if he's been charged with any violent crimes. Now, law enforcement has its ways of doing this as well. But sometimes I find out something law enforcement isn't aware of. I share this, of course. This is your weekly TruthFinder update brought to you by our friends at truthfinder.com. When we check Douglas's background, we see the crimes he committed in the sting. Those are all noted. But in terms of any other background, all we can find beside that is a speeding violation. There's a first time for everything. If you want to be up to speed on the people you are dealing with, go to truthfinder.com/predators to find out more. It's a good tool for me, and it can be a very valuable tool for you. TruthFinder. More of our story in a moment. As you know, I like to hear from you. And this week's question comes from Nathan in Akron, Ohio.
Hi, Chris. Nathan from Akron, Ohio speaking. I came across some news that broke this morning that immediately made me think of you. Joseph Duggar has been arrested and confessed to the crime of molesting a 9-year-old girl in 2020. And I'm sure you know he's the brother of Josh Duggar, who is currently in prison for child pornography, and he has other similar crimes in his past as well. And this is rather personal for me because I grew up watching their TV show. And so to watch these things keep happening in their family has been really devastating. And my question is, because you specialize in investigating cases of child exploitation, have you considered getting into the world of places like IFB establishments where powerful leaders are allowed to use misuse the Christian faith as a cover-up for preying on women and children? Thanks for all you do, and now if you'll excuse me, I have to watch your latest Takedown episode.
Well, thank you for that. And thank you for watching the Takedown episodes. That's a great idea. I did see with great interest the latest development in the Duggar family saga. And it is shocking when a public figure, whether it's entertainment or politics or anything else, gets caught up in a situation like this. But it shows how prolific this crime is, both child porn, CSAM, and predatory activity. And in terms of infiltrating or investigating one of these groups, I think that's a great idea. And I have some potential ideas. So thank you very much for sharing that. And thank you for sending in an audio question. You know, I was talking with Joe Garner, my producer, today, and we came up with an idea. Maybe it would be interesting because, you know, we do a video version of this podcast, obviously, on Have a Seat with Chris Hansen, my YouTube channel. Maybe instead of just doing an audio version when you send in a question, send in a video. That's kind of cool. We'd like to see you in person. So let's try that. Send in a video version. Just pop the camera up, ask your question on video. We'll use it right here. Thank you for checking in. You can find me all over social media at Chris Hansen on X, official Chris Hansen on Instagram. Have a Seat with Chris Hansen on TikTok. Can you believe that we have 1 million followers on TikTok? It's quite something. Cameo, should you desire. My streaming crime network, True Blue. New episodes of Takedown, our predator investigations, drop every single Thursday, some 200 so far. The law enforcement agencies with which we work are expanding on a monthly basis. No end to our work in sight. Watch trueblue.com. Speaking of which, our investigative documentary into predators exploiting children on the gaming platform Roblox has dropped. You need to see this. If you have kids, if you have nieces, nephews, friends with children, it is vital that you see this. It is very compelling. And the second episode is out now. We worked a long time on this. I'm very proud of it, and you need to see it. You can always reach me right here at Chris@predatorpodcast.com. I'll be watching and listening.